Okay, so we are now on the third part here, the glove. Let me get this together for you. Sorry, stitch pulled out there. We ended on the spot where I told you to slip stitch but not to chain. So here's what we're looking at. Hopefully you're looking at something similar. And then what we're going to do is, starting from this right side, we're going to count over left. We're going to slip stitch 5 over left. So going 1 slip stitch, 2 slip stitch all the way over left, making sure I don't skip one. Okay, 2, 3, 4, and 5 slip stitches, and we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4th chain. And this is going to be working on the index finger. We're going to complete the base in a second for that we're going to work off of. So we're going to kind of tie it over here somewhere, but in order to know where we're going to tie it off, we want to start from the first double crochet beside where we had just done the chains. Count over 10, and we're going to slip stitch to the 10th space. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's back where we started. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whoop. Then I'm gonna get my hook here, put it in, and then slip stitch through. Oops, that part could be a little tricky. I was just gonna say, and it would come out from under me. There we go. Okay. Once we do that, we're going to chain our 2, 1, 2, and then to each of these double crochets around, we are going to put a double crochet. And then if you are ahead of me in thought already, yes, we're going to put a double crochet in each one of those 4 chains that we did also. That should have us ending up with 14. And I'm going to count mine as I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About that. Okay, then I'm going to go in each of these 4 chains here. Alright, and then once we get to the end here, we're going to slip stitch into this top space here, chain 2, and then we're going to double crochet all the way around, having 14 all together, and slip stitching to join like we had been doing. This is going to be rows 2 through 7. So right now we're on this is going to be 2 through 7, starting from the last one we just did. So the one we finished would have been 2. So 3 is the one we're working on. Sorry, this would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. And I'm going to skip ahead until I get there and just kind of double check with you what I've got and what you got to make sure we're all on track. But that will be nearing like the top to end of the glove. Okay, so I have now gotten made sure I got 14 across at the very end, counting one of the first chain 2 as a double crochet, and I have 7 rows all together of that. If you're having a hard time finding that space, you just kind of get right there in the glove. That's your chain, so that's where we'll just start at each of your making 14 around, just so you're not laying the glove flat, because either one of these looks like they could be a space. But what we're gonna do now is, I may have left you with slip stitch over in chain 2. If not, we're gonna do that now once we've approached the end of row 7. Slip stitch over and chain 2, and then we are going to do a decrease double crochet into each one around. And then once you do that, once you get to the very end, you'll have one. Okay, so once we get to the end of that last double crochet you did at the end of this decreasing round, we're going to slip stitch over and chain 2. And then what we're going to do is double crochet into each stitch around the top of these decreases, and all together we should have 8 double crochets, counting that first chain 2 as a double crochet also. Here we go. I'm going to check behind myself because we are near the end of the index finger right now. Slip stitch top of there. I'm going to count, put my hook in there so I know where I started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. Okay, and then what we're going to do, unless I just told you slip stitch, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do that once more. We're going to double crochet into each one around. Alright, making sure I'm at the end. Yep, I'm gonna slip stitch over, and then I'm gonna chain 2, 1, 2, and then I'm gonna do decrease round again. And I think at the end of this, we should end up with 5, counting the chain 2 space as one of those stitches. And we'll have space yet again for 1 double crochet at the very end of a row like that. Alright. And did I say 5? I'm sorry, I'm trying to do math in my head. Yeah, that's right. 5. So there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 double crochet. If that's helping you at this point. If not, saying decrease rounds, I can do that. We're gonna slip stitch over 1 and some more over here, chain 2, 2, and then we are just going to do a double crochet around. I think I've got space for one more. It gets very hard to tell what you're doing this close to the end. Okay, and we're gonna slip stitch over. I'm gonna go from the inside slip stitching because it's kind of tough to tell what I'm doing. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna we're gonna go over 1, 2 stitches, whatever you can find at this point. Put your hook in, slip stitch like that. We're gonna pull up on your string. We're gonna cut it off. Me still with my hole puncher. I'll find those scissors the second this video, like I stopped videoing for hours and hours. That's what's so funny. Or they'll be right under me. Whoops. Okay. And we're gonna pull it through. What I like to do is I like to do like a last chain stitch to get that yarn secure. Gonna do a knot here just like we do with thumb, and then create another knot just to get it like that. And oh my gosh, okay, I gotta put it on. Look at that, it's coming to life. That my finger is way too tiny for that large, extra large, but yeah, pretty neat. This is where I had to tie off my yarn earlier, so I'm just gonna weave that in, and then I'm gonna cut that one short. That's all I did with this side, is I just cut it short, and it looks really good. And so I'll do that with that side when I get a sec. But let's start on this next round. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we are gonna do something a little different. We're gonna flip your glove over and kind of smash together where you see each stitch, because what we're gonna do is count over 5 on each, and then going into the 5th one of each, we're gonna go right through. What that is gonna do is with these 4 over here that will double crochet, we'll also double crochet some on the top and bottom here. We're hoping to equal 10 all the way around. So what I'm gonna do now, and you could also, to make it easy on yourself, is I'm gonna count the front 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm gonna count 5 from the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since we're sort of pinching this off, this each would count as 1 double crochet. Once we do this chain 2, we're actually gonna, let's see, chain 2, flip it over, and then increase into the same space that you just made. Increase double crochet, I should say. So that's the stitch we've been working on. And then double crochet all the way around. And when you do that, we should have 14 double crochets, counting that chain 2 space we did at the very beginning just now as one of those. And then to keep this one kind of short because it's getting near the end, I'm gonna meet you whenever I'm done with the base of this is your middle finger. All right, now that we've completed that base of your middle finger, we're gonna slip stitch over. I've already done that, and chain 2, and we'll be working just like we had the other ones before. This next round will be round 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So for the next 5 rows, you're gonna be just double crocheting around, making sure you have 14 every time you're done with those rounds. And then after that, we'll do some decrease rounds and regular, but for now, do 5 rows, just double crocheting around with those slip stitches and chain 2 in between, of course. And I will meet you back here when I have something to show you. Alright, so I just got to the end of my row. I guess technically it's 6 counting the first one, but the one I told you to do 5 on. We're gonna slip stitch and chain 2. In this next round, round 7 of the middle finger is gonna be decrease rounds all the way around. And then at the end, you should have 1 space left over to put 1 regular double crochet. This is the same as we had done before, so I might just stay with you. We're already here. My big girls, or I guess my 2 youngest are in there playing a game, so if you guys hear calamity and I don't know, girl friendships, that's what's going on in there. All right. Already near the end here. And our next round, whoop. Let me get to the end before I talk, because I can't seem to think about what I'm doing. I'm doing it, and that, also you should end with 8. Let me make sure that's right in my head, yeah. We should have 8 around once we're done with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, and 8 all together. Then what we're gonna do is slip stitch into this top chain 2 space. Chain 2, 1, 2, and then these next 2 rounds are just gonna be putting a double crochet, sorry they're so loud, putting a double crochet into each stitch around. And that's the cat sneezing. Can you tell that it's getting to be morning when everybody's waking up? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, kitty. I think he's just showing off now. What's up, Petrabaye? Oh my word. All the noises you guys have to hear. This would also not happen if you go and get the pattern. But I like if you're here joining me and making it through the morning with me. And hey, there are no cats jumping on the yarn, and there are no kids in here, so that's cool. They're doing their own thing. Goodness, Petrabaye. I'm going to take out the slip stitch I just did because I want to make sure I'm counting 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. A slip stitch. Chain 2, 1, 2. And then I'm going to do more around here. Woo. He's giving himself a bath, so I suspect that's why it's not helping his sneezing, because he's just kind of licking his fur and it's getting near his face and nose. Maybe it's tickling, I don't know. Okay, now that we're into that second row, I'm going to slip stitch over, chain 2, and this is a decreasing round, so you're going all the way around decreasing. At this point it gets really hard to see again, but hey, we're nearing the end of our middle finger, which means 2 more after this. And those 2 more will be their own video, so I will have time to do those for you and say goodbye. So here we go. There shouldn't be any double crochet left over to put one in. It should just end with one of those decreases. Wow, even I'm having a really hard time seeing what I'm doing right now. Actually, yes, I think it does end up with 1 more at the end. Sorry about that. So you should have your chain 2, 3 decreases in a row, and then 1 double crochet at the end, and that will make, you'll have 5 stitches at the end if you're counting each of those clusters as 1, or not cluster, decrease as 1. Then this is near the very end, we're gonna chain 2, and for the next 3 rows for 11, 12, and 13 round, we're going to just do a regular double crochet all the way around. Yeah, and then after that, I will get back to you with how to tie it off, unless you figured it out by now. Alright, now that we're nearing the end here, I'm going to go around one more time with you. I think what I'm going to do at this very end, I said tie it off in the pattern. I think I might add just like I've slip stitch and chain 2. I'm going to put 1 double crochet just across the middle instead of slip stitching. That way to give the glove a little more height, if you know what I mean. So instead of ending it down here, I'm going to end it a little further, just so the middle finger goes a little further than this index. And then I'm going to cut it off and tie it off. There we go. And we're going to loop it through and tie it off. I think I lost where I was doing mine. Okay. Okay, and there we go. Wow, my kids are calling each other butts. Sorry. They're playing with Rafiki, their doll from Lion King. So I'm only assuming they're calling each other not only butts, but the reddest and babooniest of butts. Alright, I'm going to cut that when I have a pair of scissors, which would probably be, like I said, after this entire video is done. The next one will be to do these. Oh my gosh, they're so fun. The next rounds will be to do these other 2, which is cray cray. I'll see you at part, oh, well, I guess I can't say 3 because, yeah, look, 4. I'll see you at part 4.